So today,
we're reviewing
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train is a movie that I was looking forward to seeing. We never got to see it in theaters, and we did see it on unnamed streaming service at our house. And Jake, what were your initial thoughts?
Yeah, I think that should be. I should have said it in the Beast review. Not seeing it in the theater, I think, is definitely doing the film not as much justice as it could have had. I think the score probably would have been better for both of these if I'd seen it in theaters. But the fact that I didn't see it in theaters kind of speaks volumes to what I thought of the movies. We would have gone to see it in the theaters if it was that good. But I'd say overall, Bullet Train was definitely a interesting movie. It was one that I'd not seen before, and was definitely one that I had a lot of thoughts on. I mean, it definitely made you think. There's definitely a lot of positives in this movie. It was definitely entertaining, exciting. But I think just for me, it was maybe a little bit too much going on, at least from my opinion. Especially for a movie that's like it's a brand new movie. This is a new world. Like this is not a sequel. This is not one that we're like, oh, that's that character. It's all new characters, so it's throwing a lot at you.
What were your initial thoughts of Bullet Train?
Yeah, I would say what Jake just said. Just a lot going on, a lot, in this movie. I think I'm going to have to see this movie 2 or 3 times before I actually, take it all in. So, I mean, obviously it's entertaining. I think, it's pretty good storyline to it. There's good actors. I think, it would be labeled probably an action comedy. And so I think it was good, but I'm going to have to see it again before I, draw all these conclusions.
Yeah, this is an insane movie. If I had to compare this to a movie, I'd say Cop Shop is the most accurate comparison because that movie is very similar. And once again, there's spoilers in this review, is that there's just a bunch of different parties trying to kill each other and different confusing aspects. And this movie was entertaining for sure, but I think there was just a lot going on. And just overall thoughts, it was entertaining, but it was insane. To explain it in one word, it was just an insane movie. We want to go into our positives with the film?
Yeah, positives I would have to say is just obviously the cast. There's so many of them in there, and there's a lot of big time actors, and I feel like each one had their own different character and different take on what was going on. And it definitely was a movie that was, at least in my opinion, it kept surprising you with different decisions. Like, I mean, it seemed like anyone could die at any given moment, outside of maybe Brad Pitt, and just wanted to figure out like who's behind all this, what's the storyline. So it was maybe you can even throw mystery in there with a mystery action comedy, just because of all the questions that you really don't have answered until the very end, some of them at least. And it's definitely, like I said, it's a movie that I hadn't seen before, so I give it credit for that. It was not like a copy and paste from a past movie. It's definitely unique, and I think Brad Pitt did a good job of leading the movie, and there was also some pretty good fight sequences too.
Your positives, sorry.
Yeah, positives. I think, like Kenny said, Cop Shop definitely, which I think was better.
Yeah,
I like that movie. A little bit of Pulp Fiction, for what it's worth. A little bit of that mixed in. So it's a movie that doesn't rest. I mean, it goes from start to finish. It does have a lot of different in-depth mystery storyline to it, which I like. So I will say, positives for me is a lot of action, good things mixed in with a little comedy, so entertaining.
Yeah, the positives with this movie is for sure the cast. There's so many big-time actors, including Brad Pitt, Quicksilver, character from Eternals, a lot of characters in there. Zod, I know I don't know the actors' names, but you know what I'm talking about. And there is a lot of action. I'd say the action was good. I wouldn't say it was great, but there's some cool shots, people walking down the freaking street. And then the overall idea of the train is cool, how everyone's on this same train. And the idea that there's all these different missions. It's fun kind of exploring the characters, finding out what they're trying to do, and then how they all interact. Was pretty clever, honestly, in my opinion. And that was a fun thing. Then also not knowing, like you said, who was going to die. I really did not know who was going to die at all. And that was great. I thought any character could have died. And then, the mystery aspect of it was the biggest positives. We want to go into our negatives with the film.
Yeah, for me, I mean, I don't want to compare it to this universe because it's not on the level of the universe I'm about to name. But it almost gave me the vibes of a comedic John Wick world with all these assassins and stuff. And you can almost see this movie be part of the John Wick universe, but just in a different, like an alternate universe, because it's like a lot more comedy and obviously different different spin on it, just with the assassin theme and just some of the things that were going on.
That'd have been awesome to see John Wick in this movie.
Yeah, maybe you had John Wick come in there at the end, be like, because I mean, obviously you can't have John Wick.
That would have been really cool.
But I think also for negatives, I think that we've already hit on it. There's just a lot going on, a lot of characters being thrown at you, and a lot of things happening just right then and there. So I just think maybe trimming down maybe a couple characters, maybe making the storyline a little bit more. It doesn't have to be simple, but maybe just a little more relaxed. So just take out a few characters, and I mean the comedic thing, like you said, like the Pulp Fiction connection. Some of that stuff, like Pulp Fiction, there's a lot of the stuff in the movie that I really liked. But then there's stuff that you're just like thinking, like, what is this? Like, it's a little too much. But that's obviously the intention from the director was to go that route. So for me, some things hit, some things don't. And that's usually how comedy works. It's not all going to land. So overall, I think the best way to describe my negatives would just be a lot too much on screen.
Your negatives?
Yeah, I mean, following that up, I just, definitely agree that maybe at times you wish it would almost take a deep breath to give you a little time to take it all in, because honestly it's coming at you so fast that they actually, to me, turn too much into different scenes. I mean, it's like there's only so many ways it can go, and obviously to me they overextended that to a point to where that's where the overload comes in. That's where I'm probably going to watch it for the second and third time and pick up new things for sure.
Yeah, I'd say the main negatives is that there's too much going on, but the weird thing is I honestly didn't even think there was too much going on until the very end. You have Brad Pitt's character, then you have the twins, and then you have the girl, and then there's not too much there going on. It's really when you get to the character that's in like the suit, and then the main character that's like the father of the one guy. I don't know these exact character names.
No.
And then when the White Death comes on screen, honestly, in my opinion, that's when it really became too much. If you would have kept it with just the 4 or 5 people that it starts out with, I think it would have been fine. But once it gets to this other character that was hiding in the suit, goes to another character fighting another character outside, that's when it got to being too much. And then they just keep introducing characters as the movie ends, and that's where it's too much.
That's true. What's his name?
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, Ryan. That's the thing. The fact
character.
that I forgot Ryan Reynolds in this movie just shows you that there's too many people in this movie.
The
He's a character
from...
that you should always remember.
Yeah.
There's also, what's his name? Channing Tatum's in this movie for like maybe a little
Channing
bit.
Tatum, yeah,
like,
he's in it.
There's too many people in this movie.
And then the Sandra Bullock. Yeah, then
she's in it too.
Yeah. There's way too
ridiculous.
many.
Way too many people in this movie.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm not saying that has always a bad thing, but I think it is in this instance at least.
And I think it's just they had a lot of comedy. I think they could have pulled back from the comedy in certain points. I think there might have been too much comedy. And the overall action was fine. I said it was good, but it could have been really good. I really do think it's just that there was too much going on at the end is what really ruined it, because it was thoroughly entertaining for a lot of this movie. I'm going to go into our final thoughts and score.
Yeah, like I said, overall, this is definitely one that had a new take, and there was a lot of things to enjoy about it, but there's just a lot thrown out there to where it just kind of leaves you kind of with a little bit of a headache by the end of it, and one that, like you said, maybe the more times you watch it, you'll like it more or pick up things you missed the first time. So it's definitely one that I think I might watch again. But I think my score, though, would have to definitely stay below the 7 range and just right below it and give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Your final thoughts and score?
Yeah, definitely entertaining. I mean, like Jake said, I'm going to have to watch it again to maybe figure out a true final score. But as far as today, after seeing it once, I will go with a 7 because I did like it. It very entertaining, and I like action movies.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go with a 7 out of 10 as well, because I think it was an entertaining movie, but I think that they really introduced way too many characters that was at a detriment to the movie. I think the Channing Tatum one didn't really do it for me because he was kind of just a side character, but it's when you introduce all these other characters towards the end that have major plot roles, it would have been much better just to have just this main set of characters, focus on them, and just every time, because you spend so much time getting to know them, and it just keeps giving you more characters and more subplots, and I think it really could have benefited a lot to just narrowing that down and focusing on a more specific story, extending it. And it felt really long, which is never good for a movie, but I think a 7 out of 10 is an accurate score.
How long was it?
It was 2 hours, 10 minutes, I think.
did feel long.
2 hours,
yeah.
15 minutes.
So that was our review of Bullet Train. Let us know in the comments what you thought about Bullet Train. And what movie are you guys looking forward to the most here? At least, obviously, we know Avatar's coming out here next week or this week. But what's your favorite movie, or what's your most anticipated movie coming in 2023? Let us know in the comments. And again, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.
I gotta get off this train.